You probably heard about Dyson. It's this super high-tech products, futuristic, beautiful design, and that works. Many people are talking about them on social channels, and their stores are just stunning. I spent 3 days on these stores, and I had a great time listening to Stuart, who is the global head of product of the brand, and I invited him to OFFBounds to talk about the transformation. Here's Paula Macadi, and this is episode 54 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. Stuart, welcome to OFFBounds, to our little studio here in New York. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
The reason I invited you here is that we spent a lot of days together here in New York for an IF. You have a very interesting story to talk about, and that's what I wanted to share with the audience. But first, I want to actually make everybody aware of what is Dyson.
Interesting. I didn't realize so many people were not aware of the brand. So that's really interesting for me. But Dyson is a British-born technology company.
Not Japanese.
Not Japanese, not German.
Not German.
It's a British-born. Our headquarters are now in Singapore, but we were rooted in the Cotswolds, so in the southwest of England, we still do have a really big campus. It's huge, absolutely huge. It's insane. The company was started really, and it's one of Sir James's mantras, is basically to solve the problems that others ignore. So looking at technology and looking at how we can rethink technology and make them better. So the original product was the vacuum cleaner. He hated the old bagged vacuums where once it was full, you would have to change the bag, you get covered in dust, not a great experience. So he then created the cyclone technology, which saw the new Dyson vacuum, and it kind of gave birth to all this other different technology we now see within Dyson, where we've expanded into personal care, beauty, we've gone into hand dryers, fans and purification, and most recently, actually, audio, so headphones. So all kinds of different products.
Yeah, I like the aesthetics. It's just so, it feels like, I don't know, you have a Cybertruck. It's so futuristic.
Yeah.
It's a super futuristic device, beautifully designed and useful. It works.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? It has to be really slick technology, but it has to look nice. It's not just tech to solve a problem. It's high quality, really premium, good parts being used, and it has a longevity of a good product. So, we expect it to last a very long time. It's not going to break straight away. So yeah, all super, super nice stuff.
Yeah, and you are the global head of product.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing I imagine with this role is that you were designing new products.
No.
But we had different conversations, right, this last day. So what does your job entail?
So a product owner in my field, they look after something which is maintained and delivered through a delivery team. As head of product, I own the strategy and the portfolio of our retail offering. So that's everything in store, from our payments to our point of sale, partially our ERP system, CRM processes, booking and event management capability, all of those different features, functionalities. I own all of that, and my team will manage that on the day-to-day and kind of what we want to do. We've got a new product need to be launched and it has XYZ requirements that we need to manage. It's about managing all of those pieces of the puzzle.
And how long has it been that you are at Dyson?
It's my 10th year this year, actually. So it's gone in a kind of a heartbeat. I can't believe it is my 10th anniversary. It's insane.
That's amazing. When is it?
May.
Need it with
It's in the middle of May.
Okay. I hope you get a nice purifier.
I hope it's someday.
Or a raise or something. You are present in several markets, right?
Yes.
We've been to the store here in the US, but you have also in Europe.
Yeah.
Where else?
Yeah, so we're a global company. So we sell across in 4 major regions. So APAC, Greater China, EMEA in the Americas. So we're direct in a good number, and then indirect in many, many more.
And the channels that you work, probably like e-com, stores, what else?
So we have indirect sales, like most companies, but then in the direct space, we have the usual suspects, right? So we've got e-com, which is our biggest channel. We have retail, we have marketplaces, we have customer services, and actually most recently, we kind of moved within the app space. We can actually, in some markets, you can actually use the My Dyson app to start doing purchases, which is really quite cool.
Oh, that's super nice. I had had no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I should download it.
Yeah, you should definitely download it. And, it's really, really cool. We're still doing a lot of advancement in the My Dyson app.
Absolutely. And how was this transformation? This is what we have been talking about these last days, right? How was this transformation for Dyson? What needed to be done and how it was done?
So the transformation that I was driving and leading was more around the retail transformation that we were looking at. So I guess just a bit of history in Dyson retail. So we started being an in-store retailer in 2015. We actually started in Japan. Maybe that's why people think we're a Japanese company. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
We started in Japan, and we then moved across to London, where we did our first flagship in Oxford Street. We were still using the same processes, same technology, even up until 2023, that we were using in 2015. We hadn't really done much advancement, but the world had changed significantly, especially as an outcome of COVID. And I personally, when I was looking and kind of seeing what the key trends were, it's almost like a lot of technology companies use COVID as a bit of like, right, we're not getting a lot of demand in. Let's focus on us. Let's focus on what we want to do moving forward and the kind of key features that we would expect. So coming out of COVID, we had a massive gap between what now the shopper was expecting to what we could offer in store. So identifying that was to be honest, it was quite easy because we were so behind. And so then had to kind of just basically pull it all together and get the backing, which was not easy by any means. Had to have some very challenging conversations. But we were, successful within 2022 to go through all the formalized procurement processes and get kind of the backing and the funding we needed to start delivering in 2023. And across the last 2 years,
it's getting like everyone on board, right? Leadership, team, like, hey, we're going to have to go through this process.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was, I had to speak to everyone from like end users and store management teams all the way up to CEO and C-suite level. So it was, my role was kind of, a lot of it was talking about the same things, but depending who I was talking to, obviously the lens of the information changed. So the end users, I had to talk to them about the functions they were going to get and, their pain points that they were using and really get into the weeds of stuff. But then when I was talking to C-suite, like CEO and CFO, they wanted to understand, okay, well, how does this financially benefit us? What efficiencies can we see? Which, challenged me to look at things in a different way, which was really, really interesting. I learned a huge amount from that personally. But it shows how successful I was in doing so because we've been able to start going through this transformation over the past few years.
Yeah, it tends to be the hardest part, I think, because it's not something that you see the ROI immediately. It's something that it takes years. So not many companies want to take the risk. But if you don't take the risk, then you're going to be so behind.
Definitely, right? Absolutely. And I think this is where I see a lot of other companies struggle is the early stages of transformation. It's getting the backing. There's a real challenge to get the backing. Having a driving force. So in Dyson, put my hands up, not going to be arrogant about it, but I was the driving force behind it. If I wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened. So you need someone in a company to push and really drive those changes. But then there's also decision making. I see so many programs in different companies, not just my own, where people don't make a decision, and not making a decision is probably the worst thing to do because you become stagnant, right? Your program is not moving. If you make a decision, even if it's the wrong decision, at least you've made a decision so you can deal with it and you can move forward. And so I think where I was successful is I made a decision early on and I continued to make decisions when they were needed and we stuck to them. So we were always able to move forward. We were able to move forward with speed. We didn't overanalyze what was going on. We didn't get stuck in a state of flux. We were able to just get on with transforming, which was the main point of why we were doing this, rather than, elongating the process into years of decision making, which was unnecessary.
And how was it? Okay, you got the sponsorship of everybody, like, okay, let's do it. How was putting the deadline together? Like, how long do we need to do it? How was the process of getting the job done?
So, it's quite funny. So one of the processes in getting the backing was actually having a conversation with the CEO at the time. So I had a session with him and my wider team, so my leadership team, if you will, where we were basically going through our different elements. So I used to be in a cross-functional team within the retail channel. So we had someone talking about performance, someone talking about training and operations, and I would talk about the product. At this point in time, I was struggling to get the right level of backing. So what I did here is actually I used my forum with the CEO at the time and basically showed him as in its complete truest form, this is how our stores operate right now. This is what our stores are dealing with. You want a return? This is what happens. And it really opened his eyes because I think it was the first time he candidly saw that we were behind the mark on retail. Like, it's not a very good experience. And, we're asking our store teams to do X, Y, Z. We expect a lot from them. But if we can't even get the fundamentals right, we're losing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was, as any true leader in that level, was like, we need to fix this. Can we start now? Like, can we do this like right now? And it's like, well, takes time. So he gave us a deadline of like, right, come back in 6 weeks with a business plan, a business case, and basically the kind of funding this kind of thing would be needed, which we did. Now I got the pressure that we needed to do it like yesterday. So actually,
he got the urgency when you.
Yeah, maybe it was a little too urgent, but what? Rather that than not do it at all. With that, we knew that we couldn't. Well, I couldn't put anything on paper that was like, right, it's going to take us this number of years to even get the first market on board. So I set a very ambitious plan of within the year one of the transformation, we would do 4 markets before peak. So he accepted that, and it was a case of, okay, now we've said this, now what do we do? So we found...
Jesus, we got it, like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't just like finger in the air. I did look at kind of, okay, what do we have right now in our systems, and what do we need to get to even just do a lift and shift? So because we didn't have a lot, it wasn't too hard to be like, right, to be realistic on what we've got right now, we can probably get one at this deadline. And I had many conversations with our delivery partner to kind of see, gauging from them, will we hit this, or is this completely beyond the mark? So we actually, in the beginning of 2023, we started our delivery, and I challenged my team to design, build, and deliver a minimal viable product with integrations in 6 months, which in a transformation is quite unique. It's quite unheard of that, to go live on month 7 with a baseline, but we did it. I'm going to say, looking back...
I think like the earlier we've seen here on OFFBounds was 18 months, and that was already very surprising. But it was a whole replatforming. I don't know if that's the case for you.
Yeah, no, this was replatforming and new integrations. It was completely new architecture. Kind of steer to the team was, right, we will go live in July with only 2 things that stops us. The customers feel a problem and it really impacts the shopper journey, or the store teams feels a problem. Like, I don't want to go in and make their lives worse. If we go in and we deliver this capability in these new systems, and actually there are problems, but the problems are behind the scenes and they're not felt in the store, we will deal with that. We can firefight that. That's not a problem, because in theory, if we went live beginning of July, which we did, we've got a month to make sure all those orders are invoiced for. So, financially, we've got quite a bit of time. And I look back and I think, we did a huge amount. And sitting here, it's like, that was easy. It was not easy, because I remember the cutover. We were in our Opera store in Paris, and we were in a boardroom, and it was the Sunday night, and we were going through the first cutover, which was very long, because so we were like trying and testing everything. We did have an issue, and we were like, everyone was looking at me, and it's kind of like, well, we're all here. It's kind of, we're past the point. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go. I spoke to the head of retail. She was also in the room. I was like, I'm game if you're game. And she's like, let's do this. So we cut over, and we were firefighting for probably 2-3 weeks behind the scenes, that we were doing stuff to make sure all the orders were processing. We did turn a lot of automation off behind the scenes so that we could manage the fire. But we were able to fix the fundamentals, putting at the same time the whole market live for France. So we have all of our doors live in France. So that was a huge success. And then we were
and the customers didn't feel anything.
Customers didn't feel a thing. Store teams didn't feel a thing.
But
behind the scenes, it was like, whoa, there's a fire over there, there's a fire over there, let's go. But the team that I had to support me, they were exceptional. Like my Dyson team, and also my Accenture team that helped us. We all worked as one team, which was really, really important. Yes, we all do have roles, like a formal role, but everyone was willing to stretch and go into right, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm a head of product, I'm not, humbled, but I was processing orders in SAP. Like, I don't know if any other head of product would do that, but this was the kind of feeling that we had on the team. Where it's like, I don't care what your role is, everyone jump in, because we're all this together, right?
It feels like everybody had a clear goal. And that has helped, right?
Yes.
Like, everybody understood that we all together need to get to that
Exactly.
part. Yeah.
We were all in it together. We were one team, and I think we all worked together as a team, which was, a huge success as to that. And it allowed us then to move at speed, because then we were like, oh, we've only got a few weeks. We've got Germany next. Do we just go? And we're like, let's do this. Let's carry on. We've if you pause now and you lose momentum, when do we restart? Like, there'll always be something, right? There'll always be, oh, this needs to be fixed. Oh, this
There's
needs to be...
something urgent all the time, right?
Exactly. So it's like, no, we need to keep up momentum. We'll go. We can continue to deal with the fires because they're getting smaller. And actually, we've got peak soon. So actually, we need to get these over the line, because then it means that we can support the shoppers better during peak. But it also means we have the peak period that whilst we can't deploy anything to production, we can use those few months to work on little enhancements, little fixes that then we can deploy in January, which we did. So yeah, the year one was a huge success. We did all our first markets all on plan that we wanted to do. And then it was Y2, and we were like, God, here we go, because year two for us was a big one. So it was we had to really ramp up. But what we decided in the program was actually, we're not going to build per market. It doesn't make sense. All markets are the same. Like 90% of markets are the same. So we really worked on standardizing. I focused on making sure that our IT teams also reflected that in their code. So actually, when I was doing a new market, it wasn't a build activity. It was more of a configuration exercise. There were some localizations, don't get me wrong, that you needed to build on, but they were much smaller tickets that needed to be delivered. By doing this in this way, it meant that every month in 2024, we were delivering a minimum of 2 markets every month up until August. So we cut over all of EMEA and all of the Americas. I think everyone, when it got to the middle of August, everyone was like, I need to book myself into a spa. I need a holiday. I'm exhausted. But everyone did so much to get us there. But we were hugely successful because we managed to cut over all the markets we wanted to do, all on time, all within the budget, and with no major issues. Because it was one approach on integration, the fixes we'd applied for, say, France and Germany, we didn't feel those in any of the other markets because they were code impacting the global baseline. So it only got easier going from there. And then in 2024, we could work on, okay, let's add new features. Let's build new capability to then go even further. So it was, really, really good.
Yeah, and how has the store teams received it? Like, how did the customers notice any difference? Do you have this feedback? Or?
So I think there's a few things there. So store teams, they loved it. I had a meeting yesterday at Fifth Avenue, and it's the first time I met with that team. And I always like to kind of go in and say, like, right, I want your honesty. Like, give it to me in any language. If you want to swear. Like, I need to feel your frustration if there's something. So don't filter it. Don't worry. There's always changes. There's always enhancements. But they said, like, overall, we love it. Like, it's efficient. It's quick. They have more data visibility. So only good things. And on the flip side with the customers, there's always companies that will always need to build in their business cases about the customer centricity, right? So how we do it is looking at NPS data results. So we were looking at kind of previously as part of the business case, like, okay, what are customers saying within the checkout process? We want to basically scrape all that and find things that relate to processes and systems. And there was a lot of things. It was like, oh, I had a great experience in store, but then when I was checking out, I couldn't even get an email receipt. Or, this expert took me ages to place this order because there was issue with the till.
And I imagine like a consumer entering the store and having that experience, trying the products, touching all the futuristic, high tech, and etc., and then leaving like,
exactly.
That feeling of, last feeling of leaving the store should be right.
Yeah, right. And the till system, point of sale system, it's in a store. It should be kind of peripheral. You're going into one of our stores and you're seeing all of really cool tech. Maybe you're having your hairstyle, so you should be leaving thinking about the technology you just interacted with. You shouldn't be thinking about the checkout experience.
Absolutely,
So
you should be thinking about your next purchase.
Exactly, right? So when we then compared it with the data we had before with the data afterwards, we didn't see anything, which was what we wanted, because customers typically are not going to comment on a checkout experience because it shouldn't be forefront. Only commented on the good experiences we had in store. So we took that as a win, right? It's because customers weren't saying anything. They didn't have any complaints about the process is and about the systems in store anymore, which was ideal.
That we also talked a lot about this week is how Dyson went viral on TikToks and Instagram, and how many of the customers, especially for the hair care products, interact so much in social channels, right? We even talked about community and the Dyson community and how it works, which is pretty much teaching how to do the hair and other people commenting on how they do and etc. How is that social listening for Dyson? Do you have that capability of seeing what other consumers are saying online?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about the listening capabilities internally and kind of the full uses for it, but any company worth their salt will be listening, whether they have some really high-tech systems to really scrape it in, pull it into a dashboard so you can filter through, or just simply looking on TikTok themselves and looking at what people are saying, looking at the type of trends that they're. So, I imagine we're doing some stuff with that. I think we have such a vast variety of communities, right? So obviously we start with vacuum cleaner, we've gone into hair care, we've now got a wet and dry mop. So actually, whilst Dyson does post content out there on these channels, the communities have just gone crazy because we have air wrap communities where I've seen things from ladies styling their dog's fur with the air wrap. I've seen men style their beards with an air wrap. So if you've got an impressive beard, get an air wrap because you can style with it.
So it's even like things that products weren't designed for.
Exactly,
and
right.
You found out an utility.
Exactly, we found it through these communities, and it weren't anything we did. It was the communities that were kind of taking our product and using it in different ways. So it's insane. I did see, it was a few days ago actually, I saw the Wash G1, which is our wet and dry mop. There's a calling now, which to be fair, I could probably go down this rabbit hole on a personal level, where people that have the Wash G1, they get requests from other people on TikTok and Instagram. It's like, right, I want to see you throw cereal on the floor. I want to see you throw ketchup on the floor. Oh, throw curry on the floor. And I want to see it mopped up because I want to see how well the mop performs. But also, I want to see the water. I want to see does the water really reflect what's on the floor? And I want to see how clean the floor is. They want to see the dirt and to clean up, and they love this. There's a whole group of people that just want to watch cleaning videos. So this community...
I think I'm one of those.
I personally am one of those.
There's one like that they clean carpets.
Yes. Oh, the rugs one.
Oh my God, I love that. That's like, that makes me a better person for sure. I'm just like, wow, that's so good.
It's kind of therapeutic to watch things being cleaned. But I didn't know it existed for Dyson. So stumbling on that community was something really, really cool. But, these things are happening quite naturally without Dyson getting involved. And we can really we can watch that and see from afar, like, oh, this is what you're using the product for now? Like, this is really cool because we didn't intend this, but it's great.
Yeah, and that probably, inspires for new product creations. Maybe we'll have one day, I'm guessing, I'm not asking, one specific for beard.
Maybe. I mean,
for your dog.
Exactly. like watch these products, Dyson engineers, and, you can start creating things with this.
I'm giving some ideas. And another thing that I think is very interesting is that you got into a new thing this year, right? Like the hair products, but like hair products, like
formulations.
Exactly, formulations that is different than the technology they usually work. How is that going?
Oh, obviously I don't use it, but from my exposure to it and kind of testing it, like I personally love it. Everyone I know that has tried it loves it. It's going really, really well. It's when we launched it, we got so much positive feedback. For those of you that don't know, it is formulations, a pre-styler and a post-styler called Kaitazan. It's created with oyster mushrooms. It's all very natural products, and it's stunning. The packaging is stunning. The pump is stunning. Everything is thought about in the smallest detail. It is Dyson engineering in a formulation product, but it's not. It's something that reflects more of the type of shopper that would get it, right? So it's mainly a female that would use it. So it reflects what a female would want, like elegance, beauty. It's not a hardcore machine. It's so nice. What I really appreciate and liked is when we dropped this. So Dyson does something quite cool with dropping new products. So when we drop this, we invite people from the industry, whatever industry we're launching to. So this one was beauty, so we invited hairstylists, salon owners to our campus down in Malmesbury. and we actually record everything we do, and we post it on YouTube, we post it on our channels. So this is not a secret, but we basically bring them into a room, and in the room there is a table with a metal box, and we basically watch them unbox and see the product, and we blur out the product so you can't see it, but we record their reaction to it and what they say and their facial expressions, and we basically then put this on our channels in kind of like, oh my God, look what's coming. Like, you don't know the product, but look, you know where these people are from, and you can see their expression. And then it starts to get our communities all interested, like, what is this coming? What is coming? Like, when is it coming? So we did that, and we had so many people that were like, oh my God, like, I want to know what's coming. And it's a normal Dyson approach that we do this. We did this with Dyson Zone, so the headphones before, and it's just really good to see the instant reaction of people, and recording that is really powerful because not a lot of people in Dyson will see that. It's only those that are in that room at that point in time will see it. And we talk about it internally, but actually getting first-hand visibility on, well, this is actually really, really cool, and these people think it's cool. It's almost about validation, right?
And the reaction of people seeing like the packaging, because they don't know exactly what it is, right? Like, it's just the first wow.
They see it, and then they play with it, and they're like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then when we launched the product, like, just flew off the shelves, absolutely flew off the shelves. And we partnered with a few indirect retailers as well. And again, they couldn't get enough of it. They loved the product. Everyone loves the product. So hopefully, you know, we'll do more in this space. I personally don't know, but I you know, it's a really good innovation for Dyson, I think.
I wonder how your house looks. You
My
probably
house?
have a lot of you probably have a good vacuum cleaning. You probably have a lot of high-tech products from
I have a few Dysons over my time. I've been there a long time, so yeah, I've got a few Dysons.
You have your headphones to travel with.
That's the one thing I don't have, actually. I need to, because they were just drops.
This is your 10th year, so
maybe they'll give me some.
And what should be next for Dyson in terms of? I'm sure, like, there's, as we always say, like, there's always something to transform, something to get better. What are you looking for in 2025?
Can always be a challenge. Like, I know what I want to do, but I don't know what the company wants to do yet. So I can't speak on behalf of what Dyson wants to do right now. But for me, one of my priorities is building on this community stuff, right? Building on loyalty. Because I think if you look at Dyson.com and you go into store and you even go on the app, it's a bit of a gap for us. We don't do anything around brand identity when it comes to community building and loyalty. So I think I would love to look at more in this space this year, and really start to build out more maybe of a loyalty program, or build out more reward program, more reward schemes. But who knows what's in the future? Who knows if it's at the moment a priority for Dyson? I don't know, but this is for me.
Yeah. And you know, it's a hot topic this year.
Yeah.
Several events, several people that I'm talking to, they're all looking into loyalty because it's such a strategic and good part of the business. Right?
Oh yeah, I think loyalty at the moment is very, very crucial, right? And I think where we've got these products that are now in beauty, so formulations, which, to be honest, is a heavily saturated market, you need to keep people. So you need repeat shoppers. And the way to do that is with loyalty. So you need to reward them for shopping with us, you know, whether that's a point scheme or inviting them to advanced events where only people with a certain level can get to. You need to do something or you will lose them. The shopper has so many different options now. And I think if you have a shopper hesitate to buy your product for your brand, you've lost them. The cost of hesitation is real. They will go elsewhere. And so you really need to give people a reason to shop with you.
Yeah. And what do you, like, we just spent a few days at NRF, which is a huge show with so many technologies, so many interesting things going on. How do you see the future of retail, given what you saw?
The future of retail. Now obviously AI and generative AI, there was a lot around AI. My personal view on this is it's not quite there yet. Like, don't get me wrong, AI, for me, helps with my day job. Helps with me deal with admin, repetitive tasks, but working within a retail environment, maybe not yet. Hopefully this year we'll see some huge advancements. So maybe in the future then we'll see, okay, what are the use cases for this? How can we get this in stores, make things cooler? So I definitely think there is stuff in the future with AI that we can leverage in stores. But I think experience and communities is probably big right now. I went on a store tour yesterday with some colleagues, and I went and looked around Louis Vuitton, Tiffany. I also went to some stores down in Soho. So there was Real. There was another one which I forget. But what they all had in common was the experience process. It was, you've come into store, let's go through an experience, whether we have digital displays or we have amazing creative assets that you can go through. So Louis Vuitton had a really good one. It was, firstly, outside, I don't know if you've seen a stunning building they've wrapped in the Louis Vuitton like luggage, absolutely beautiful. But then inside you go in and there's loads of like suitcases piled up. Each floor has a different branding based on one of their designs. So it's almost like photo worthy, like customers would want to go in and let's put this on my Instagram. And then also we're seeing a lot of retailers are moving into coffee shops or actually restaurants. So I know Ralph Lauren, they've now got their own coffee brand and they have like a whole cafe kind of thing. Whereas Louis Vuitton has a restaurant. And so it, it's all experience.
That's another rabbit hole you can go. If you go to Tiffany, did you go to Tiffany store?
Yes.
Yeah, that store is phenomenal too. But they have the coffee shop. I went to China. Every luxury brand had a coffee shop. And now even Zara is deploying like several coffee shops around Europe this year. So I think this goes together with the community part.
Yeah, exactly.
Come hang out with our brand.
Exactly.
Come hang out with us here. Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's more to us than just purchasing. Like come and have an experience. Like come and have drinks. Come and have dinner. I went to a furniture shop in Soho yesterday. It was like a really, really nice one. I wish we had it in the UK, although it would not be good for my bank balance. And it had a restaurant on the top floor. And they said, if you just come for drinks, like you can go to the restaurant, get them. If you're not quite done with them, you can just walk around the showroom with them and sit on our furniture and see, does this work for me with my champagne sat on a sofa? Like that in itself is so different from any other furniture shop where you're not even allowed drinks in the furniture shop, whereas they're kind of actively promoting, relax in our store, have a drink, try it out. I
feel like it's your living room.
Exactly. Yeah. So experience, I think, is definitely here to stay. I think it's definitely, if you want to do well, focus on experience. If you're in that kind of premium retail environment and communities, hone in on your communities, focus on them, reward them, and really drive them to what you want to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Stuart. It was a pleasure to have you here in New York. We're going to finish our coffee from a British brand, not Japanese. And it was a pleasure to have you here. I hope to see you next time very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.